Hello everyone, it's Myeongkul-jan. Today I am going to read S66039, Buster's New Friend, Chapter 1. Arthur was sprawled on the rug in the den, playing with two horseshoe magnets. If he touched their ends together one way, the magnets stuck together. Magnet. But if he flipped one over, then the ends repelled each other. His sister, DW, came in and turned on the TV. DW, can't you see I'm working? But Arthur, it's time. Up next, said the TV announcer. It's a half an hour of action-packed thrills with Archie's mightiest superhero, Bionic Bunny. Oh, sorry, said Arthur. I didn't realize it was that late. The key zipped out from under the couch and stuck to one of the magnets. Did you see that? Asked DW. It was magic, not magic, said Arthur. Magnetism, an invisible force that attracts metal objects together. That's what I said. Magic, Arthur sighed. Anyway, don't touch this magnet. They are for the science project I'm doing with Buster. He's coming over to watch Bionic Bunny. And then we are going to work together. Can I help? I bet I could be good at magic. No, you can. You are too young. The W made a face. But you can watch Bionic Bunny with us, Arthur added. Okay, the W looked out the window. Why isn't Buster here already? Bionic Bunny is about to start. He'll be here, said Arthur. He always makes it in time. But not that day. The show opened as Bionic Bunny raced through the sky, trying to stop a missile from exploding. Must stop missile, he said, straining every muscle in his bionic body. The W tucked Arthur's sleeve. Maybe Buster doesn't like Bionic Bunny anymore. Don't be silly, said Arthur. Buster is just running a little late. Half an hour later, the show concluded with the president congratulating Bionic Bunny on the White House lawn. You're a credit to the country, said the president. Bionic Bunny stared at the grass. I do the best I can, sir. Thanks for saving the free world, the president went on. But who are you really? Asked the nearby reporter. Just a citizen trying to do his duty. Bionic Bunny insisted, flying into the sunset as the credits started to roll. Arthur clicked off the TV, frowning. There was still no sign of Buster. How could they do the project together if Buster wasn't there? Buster missed the whole episode, said DW. I know that, DW. Something must have happened. Maybe something terrible. Arthur went to the telephone. He called Buster's mother at work. Hello, Mrs. Baxter. This is Arthur. I've been waiting a long time for Buster, but he's not here. I think he's missing. He's not. He's where? Arthur frowned. Oh, I see. Well, thanks. Sorry to bother you. Bye. Arthur hung up. So where is he? Asked DW. He's out playing miniature golf. Why didn't he invite you? Mrs. Baxter said he's playing with his new friend Mike. Mike? Frowned. Who is Mike? Arthur had no idea. Chapter 2. The next morning, Arthur met Buster at the usual corner on the way to school. Buster was moving too fast because he was hitting a golf ball with a stick as he walked. Steady, Buster mumbled to himself. Steady. Buster! Hi, Arthur. Buster picked up the ball and put it in his pocket. I was just practicing. Yesterday, I went mini golfing with my new friend, Mike. So that's where you were. Don't you know you missed Bionic Bunny? Buster shrugged. It's on your cartoon, Arthur, and I'll bet we have seen it before. Well, yes, but did I tell you that Mike got a hole-in-one on the 14th hole? Hardly anyone ever does that. It has a water hazard. Mike, who is Mike? Buster bragged. Just the best mini golfer I have ever seen. You should see how he judges the slope of the turf. He kneels down and everything. Is that important? Of course, Arthur frowned. Well, in case you have forgotten, we are supposed to. I know, said Buster. You do? I shouldn't just talk about the miniature mini golf. There's a lot more to Mike than that. He has tons of amazing CD. He knows the lines from all the old movies. Everyone who knows Mike thinks he's really cool. Just over the horizon, a boy in a leather jacket and sunglasses was riding his mountain bike down the road. Buster was riding beside him. They pulled up to the miniature mini golf course and were immediately surrounded by their fan. It is Mike and Buster. I think I'm going to faint. Everyone herded closer, hoping to get an autograph. Arthur was stuck at the back, but he tried to inch forward. Excuse me, coming through. Excuse me, an angry fan turned to him. No pushing. You have to wait your turn just like the rest of us. But I know that. But then I've been friends for years. You're right. Then why are you stuck back here? Arthur didn't have a good answer. Please, please, I must get closer. Nobody cared. Far ahead, Mike and Buster were swept away by a sea of well-wishers, and Arthur was left behind. So what do you think? Buster asked. Arthur blinked. Somehow they had arrived at school. What do I think of what? Yeah, of Mike, silly. I've been telling you all about him. He sounds terrific. Maybe the three of us could do something together. Buster beamed. That's a great idea. I'm sure Mike could help us out on our science project. So you do remember. Naturally. Well, I've been doing a lot of research and I think the best we ask Mike what to do. Said Buster, I bet he knows a lot more about scientific stuff. Okay, sure, bring him by after school. We'll be there. Said Buster. They went inside. Chapter 3. That afternoon, Arthur sat at his desk, inspecting all the materials for his science project. He had magnets in different shapes and sizes, and lots of metal washers, paper clips, nails, and screws. Arthur was looking through a book, sticking together magnetism through the ages. And there was a knock at the door. Come in, said Arthur. He was expecting Buster and Mike, but it was his mother instead. She was carrying a tray with 3 glasses of juice and a bowl of popcorn. I brought up a snack for you and your friends. Thanks, Mom. I'm sure they'll be here any minute. Mrs. Reed put down the tray. Have a good time, she said, and don't work too hard. Then she left. For a few more minutes, Arthur sat, waiting for Buster and Mike to show up. Finally, he took a sip of juice and a handful of popcorn. I guess I should get started without them, he said to himself. And an hour later, the 3 glasses were empty, and so was the bowl. So, said Arthur, reading aloud, if the magnetic field goes out sideways from the poles of the magnet, he had tested all of the metal objects on the desk and had taken 3 pages of notes on which one stuck to the magnet. Arthur said, Mrs. Reed, sticking her head through the doorway. Yes, Mom. His mother looked around. What happened to Buster and Mike? Guess they must have forgotten. Oh dear. That isn't like Buster. Well, I'm sure he had a good reason. Anyway, dinner is in a few minutes. Okay. He glanced at the empty bowl and glasses. I'm not that hungry, but I'll be down. After she left, Arthur stared at his magnets, and then knocked them all over. Yeah, he said. I just bet they forgot. Arthur was standing at the door of a laboratory, gleaming with stainless steel table. All along one wall was a bank of computers, their lights flashing furiously. In the middle of the room, a figure in a white lab coat stood at a long bench. His back was to Arthur, so Arthur couldn't tell who he was, but Arthur did recognize Buster. Arthur couldn't tell who he was, but Arthur did recognize Buster, who was strapped to the bench itself, was just struggling to get free. Your efforts are useless, said the figure. You're in my power. Never, said Buster. I will not give in to you. My will has the strength of 1,000 butterflies. Butterflies don't have much strength. The figure pointed out. Don't forget, I said 1,000 of them. That should count for something. The figure cackled loudly. Have you forgotten I am Dr. Mike? Your will is putty in my hands. He took out a shiny watch and swung it in front of Buster's face. That old trick, said Buster. I've seen a lot of old movies. I'm not falling for that. Dr. Mike swung the watch back and forth, back and forth. Repeat after me. I will not go to Arthur's house, said Dr. Mike. Buster's face suddenly went blank. I will not go to Arthur's house, he repeated. I will never visit Arthur's house again, said Dr. Mike. I will never visit Arthur's house again, said Buster. Arthur tried to call out and rush to Buster, but his voice didn't work. His feet felt like they were nailed to the floor. Dr. Mike cackled again, and Arthur shuddered. There was nothing he could do. He was powerless. At lunch the next day, Arthur sat eating his sandwich in the cafeteria. Francine, Muffy, and the Brain were sitting there too. But if any of them had suddenly asked Arthur what he was eating, he wouldn't have been able to say. His mind was on other things. First to Arthur, said Francine. Come in, Arthur. Huh? Arthur said, "I'm sorry, I was just wondering where Buster is. He never seems to be around anymore." Francine crossed her arms angrily. Tell me about it. Yesterday, we had a baseball game all planned. I was counting on him to be my catcher, but he never showed up. That's nothing, said Muffy from the other end of the table. You know how Buster is such an expert on bike? He was supposed to meet me at the bike store to help me pick out a new one, but he never got there. I waited and waited and waited. So what did you do? What did you do? Asked Arthur. The only thing I could do, I had to buy them all. Arthur and Francine shook their heads. I recently had a similar experience involving Buster. The Brain. I recently had a similar. We had arranged to play Space Fighter 9 over the internet at a crucial moment when I was facing a squadron of enemy fighters. I was counting on Buster to be my wingman, but he wasn't there. I had to face them alone. What happened? Asked Arthur. The Brain looked down. It wasn't pretty, I can tell you that. The point is, what are we going to do about it? We can't just let Buster keep treating us like this. Maybe he needs the silent treatment, said Muffy. I don't know, said Francine. The silent treatment is pretty harsh. True, said Arthur, but Buster needs to learn what it feels like to be ignored. Let's try it. A few moments later, Buster arrived with his tray. Boy, that food line is long. I'm starved. I barely had any dinner last night. Mike and I went bowling, and I only had time for a burger and a shake. The other kids turned away as Buster took a bite of his sandwich. Oh, Buster went on, and Mike taught me all these great tricks. Did you know that if you spin the ball sideways, it knocks over more pins? Of course, you have to be pretty strong the way Mike is to bowl like that. Arthur checked his sweater for lint, while Francine and Muffy inspected the ceiling. Tonight, Mike and I are going to this great science fiction movie he told me about. Everyone gets eaten by plants from outer space. Buster took the last bite of his sandwich. I can't believe I finished that so fast. I'm still hungry. I'm going to get some more. Buster got up and left. Francine watched him leave. Well, we should tell him less. Actually, she said, sighing. Arthur frowned. I think we're going to need to take more drastic action. Chapter 5. After lunch, everyone returned to class. Arthur hadn't figured out a way to get to Buster, but he wasn't ready to give up yet. It just wasn't right for Buster to treat his friends this way. He needed to be taught a lesson. Hey, Arthur. Arthur frowned as Buster came up to him. I guess we have to give a progress report on the science project today, huh? Megan, it's just such a great thing to do a project on. Buster continued. I bet we'll have the best project in class. Arthur kept on glaring at the science fair. Arthur showed the large horseshoe magnet suspended from a chain on the ceiling. Buster stood under it in a suit of armor. Every magnet has a north and south pole. He told the assembled students and teachers, as you will see, north poles attract south poles. South poles attract north pole. He threw a switch activating the magnet, and Buster was lifted off the floor. The crowd applauded, but what if I have a more powerful magnet? Asked the boys from the back. Mike entered, dressed as a wizard. Mike entered dressed as a wizard. Arthur could not make out his face under his huge hat and flowing beard, but he was holding a much bigger magnet than Arthur's. He held it out and pulled Buster towards him. And what's more, said Mike the wizard, our two magnets repel each other. But since mine is bigger, I.e., cried Arthur as he was repelled across the room and out the door. Arthur said, Buster, what? Arthur snapped. Buster retreated a step. I was wondering what you think our project should be exactly. I mean, we haven't done much work on it yet. Speak for yourself. I've done plenty while you were out bowling with Mike. You have? Buster reddened. We are supposed to get together, the three of us, remember? Well, but I went ahead on my own. Why don't you go make your own project? I don't want to work with you anymore. But Arthur, we have to give a progress report. Why don't you talk about mini golf or bowling? Said Arthur. You are prepared for that. Mr. Rapon called for everyone's attention. I'm sure you have all been working very hard on your science project. The classroom to quiet it down. As you may recall, I'd like each of you to describe the project and what you have done so far. Who should we start with? Let's see. How about you, Buster? Buster scratched his ear. Well, I really don't know where to begin. At the beginning would be fine, said Mr. Rapon. Buster hesitated. The truth, I don't really know what I'm doing. Mr. Rapon did not look pleased. I see, Buster, haven't I been clear about the need to get your project underway? I believe I have. Perhaps you and I should have a talk after school. Buster's eyes looked down at his desk and then stayed there throughout most of the progress reports. The end.